Welcome back. Hello, and welcome to Ace Attorney Chronicles. If you didn't catch before, the new Apollo trilogy game remaster came out, and I told myself I have to finish this game before I can continue. Um, I don't remember much at all. I remember the snake on the boat. I remember that. I remember a little bit about the omnibus and that there was an actual person, and then it's actually that guy that sounds like Junkrat on there, and then Herlock Sholmes, and that's kind of all I remember. I wish. Let me see the core. Okay, it looks like I'm just starting a new one that I just finished here. Actually, you know what? So, to my or knowledge, so we did the Great Departure. Okay, so that was that little poisoning episode in the kitchen. Then there was the boat, and then there was the omnibus, and then this one we haven't done yet at all, or anything at all. I wish I can remember what happened in this one necessarily. I think he got away eventually, to be honest. But yeah, then we started this fourth one. It looks like Investigation Part 1. Yeah, we just started. So yeah, that guy that I was talking to, I just clicked on it. He's just right there. I'm assuming this is Watson, or whatever his name is going to be. Herlock Sholmes' guy. I don't think I've met him already, but let's find out. Also, I am sick, but I will be trying to attempt to do their voices to the best of my capability. As always, Ryu will have my voice as normal. Let's do Watson. He was eating a newspaper filled with fish and chips, apparently. Could we trouble you? Oh god, it's been a while since I did voices. I'm so sorry if these are bad. Don't stare at me, comment. What do you think? Ah! Lovely weather, isn't it? What? I don't know why. I could not read what he just said. What's the weather got to do with anything? Ah. Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get everywhere. Every English gent eating out of your hand, you know. But Susato-san told me it was a foolproof plan. I'm a busy man, a very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to. Why are you eating that so aggressively? Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. All because of some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from country I've never heard of. I forgot how racist everybody was to the Japanese people in this game, or the Nepalese. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. There's no need to rip us apart as well. Oh god. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? Does he have a crush on her? What is happening? It's unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable. How did she pull that off? Is he like a Sanji? So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Huh, Inspector Gregson. What's the matter, Susato-san? Does this detective's name mean something to her? It doesn't mean nothing to me. Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? Yes. You're acting like you know this man, Susato. But he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Very well? Yes, he's featured prominently in the adventure. Oh my god. In the Herlock Sholmes. So he is Watson. Gregson. Watson? Gregson. I'm trying to see that. connection. Oh, and that publication. What's it called again? Rants Magazine? That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Oh, I thought it was sarcasm. Never mind. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot. Oh my god, I don't know how to read anymore. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. That's the highest praise. Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not, and thanks to that magazine, my name's all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I'm mad to admit, I have a lot of burps, excuse me. Okay, sorry. I have to admit, to start with that, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not! There's nothing more sinister than a man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in the stories. The fame's gone to his head, stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying, as sure as eggs is eggs! What the fuck? I was like, let me take some medication. My nose is getting stuffier the more I yell, apparently. Oh snap, I forgot there's a brownie over here. I fill up that water. Oh, I actually have a glass of water. Cool. Bubble. I'm very happy that they released the Ace Attorney or Apollo Justice trilogy, or remastered it. I've been wanting that game for like 6 years now, and they had it available, of course, on DS, and they also made it available on phone, so you could play the game on phone. But the thing about me and phone games is that I really don't play games on my phone that often. Like, very rare. It's only if I'm on like a long car ride. So like, I'm not gonna pull out my phone when I'm at home and play the game. It's just not something I do. I have a PlayStation, so I'm like, I might as well play just games on there. They're obviously, the games on PlayStation are better than games that are on your phone. So, and I work a lot from like 8 to 6 or 7. So it's like, I can't play when I'm out. I'm not playing during my break either, I'll tell you that. That's rest time. I'm exhausted, and if I don't lay down in this car right now, then I'm gonna lose my mind. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Alright. I got a pain in my chest. I don't know if it's like gas and like burping, because it feels better when I'm burping. Maybe it's heartburn, because like I just The only thing I ate today was this like potato bacon soup. That was it so far. I haven't drank any water. So hopefully this water helps. Hopefully the medication helps with my nose. Thank you for coming along on my journey in the morning. As I was saying, as sure as eggs is eggs. Oh, I scared Comet. Sorry, Comet. Not eggs is eggs. I get the feeling that this detective could be very hard work. Interesting. Oh dear. Perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. Oh, wait. As far as we're concerned at the Yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oof, excuse me. Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement of the Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in the hospital unconscious. That's despicable! What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished whoever was off with a Susato takedown, would you? That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. Brace yourself, Ryonosuke. You're angered right now. Please don't throw me. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So, there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit. That's me, just kidding. Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question. Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you could do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. It's me. The prosecutor has been... The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barak. Wait, I'm sorry. Barrack? 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 Oh my god. I've been saying Baron von Zykes this entire time. Oh, Lord Barak von Zykes? Barrack. I'm gonna say Barrack. Barrack instead of Baron. Lord Barrack von Zykes. Zykes? Barrack von Zykes. I've been saying Baron. Damn. No! Sounds like you heard of him, then. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We are very familiar with Lord Van Zykes. Believed to be the harbinger of death himself. The Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Barrack von Zykes, who we faced in the court only yesterday. Mr. McGilded told us about him before the trial, didn't he? Oh god. When Van Zykes stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. Oh god. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. This Reaper of the Bailey's nickname, I suppose he's earned that because of every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it? Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zykes, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty, somehow. And what of it? Oh, well, I think... That means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. Tell him. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to the bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Magnus McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. Oh, McGilded died. I remember that. Yes, I remember. He got off scot-free, even though he kind of was actually him. And then his omnibus burnt down. Damn, I had fun doing his voice, though. What are you saying? Look, if Van Zykes could get the dirt to stick on anyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles. He works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? Right, well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. Investigations. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you, where the incident took place? That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You've branded him a criminal already? He's as good as shaking like a leaf in his cell, he is. It'll give you a chuckle, if nothing else. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer, and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. Good day. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning down the case. That takes courage, too. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. I, for one, wouldn't want to find that sight. I, for one, wouldn't find that sight. To find the sight of that funny. Jesus. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to... If I meet a Larry Butts in this freaking pass, I'm gonna lose my mind. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm gonna make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I'm your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes. Let's go! Where are we going? Let's talk to the prison cells. Interesting, it doesn't give a year. Let me eat a brownie, don't mind me for a second. I'm freaking dying over here. I can't breathe through my nose, so I'm just like... I'm okay. Alright, take a breather. I love it when I eat food and drink water. I'm basically waterboarding myself. Okay. Hey, mate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding at the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I... What? What is this shit? Okay. Am I a cat, as yet with no name? Calling me by a number. It's utterly unbelievable, unjustly unreasonable, and refuse to answer. It's gonna be like a little kid, watch, I swear to God. Mr. Naruhodo, what? What do you think is going on here? I have no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That triad of complaints was in Japanese. Oh. Wait a fucking second. Why do you look familiar? Hi. Excuse me, but who? Shh! Quiet! Why do you look like Mark Twain a little bit too? They're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening. Even now, I can sense it. Right. So... there you are. You come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. You're a ghost. A ghost? A ghost. Jesus. Okay, he's going, well, calm down, brother. Calm down. We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you Japanese, by any chance? This is beyond my wildest dreams! Hello? Are you just happy to see other Japanese people? We got you, bro. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am! I'm in a frightful fix in a foreign land! So hearing the sweet sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damn dark hellhole was most monumental moving moment! Okay. Who could have guessed that this low client, Lord Strongheart, assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? I feel like he knew that. What compassion my fellow countrymen show. To dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nippon! Is that Nippon? 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 A first-class lawyer? Oh dear. I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example. Yes, I can, I will! Chat, stay sullen and silent! What is this? What is this guy? I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer. As you said, my name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. I am a visiting student, sent here by our government, notoriously named Natsume! Sosuke Natsume. Oh my god, I know why he looks familiar! He reminds me of JoJo. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He looks like Jonathan's dad. He looks exactly like Jonathan's dad. I swear to God, someone look up a picture of Jonathan's dad. He looks exactly like this man. I'm looking it up now. No, it is so uncanny. The blue hair, it's kind of supposed to be black, but it has blue tones to it. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's literally the same thing. Oh my god, that's so baffling. I'm like, why does he look so familiar? Sosuke... Is it Sosuke? 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 Natsume. I'm gonna say Sosuke. Sosuke Natsume-san. What an unusual name. Call me Sosuke. Soseki. No, Soseki. Soseki-san? Soseki. Alright, wait, time out. I want to pronounce his name right. Oh my god. His name, how to pronounce his whole name is on here.
Natsume Soseki.
Oh, it is Soseki. Natsume Soseki. It is Soseki? Oh. Natsume Soseki. Okay, call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias? That's right, Naruhodo-san.
No, no, no! Don't be so prosaic! I am much more refined than that.
And haiku? That really reminds me of home. Did I hear you say you were a visiting student sent over here? I put my remote to the side, thinking that it was going to autoplay. I mean, I could put it in autoplay, but then I don't know. Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government?
Yes, that's right. A year ago I was told to go and study English. First I had to suffer that misery, and now this! It's beyond the pale!
Suffer that misery? Didn't you not want to study here?
No, I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course.
Oh.
But just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it, no?
What do you mean?
If they told me to study English literature, then I could have understood.
Oh, okay, that.
If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly unbelievable, unjustly unreasonable.
I see.
Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white washi.
Okay. You must be a man of great standing.
Oh yes, so I'm often told.
And often like to be told, it seems. Yeah, what'd you do? Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san?
I didn't do it! I didn't commit that atrocious murder!
Murder?
Oh, no, it's alright. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife! Right before my eyes!
Okay, so you don't think she died. Interesting. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker?
Who you talking to, bitch? I didn't see shit. I didn't see anyone.
What?
If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here?
Oh dear, it seems that this case is becoming rather complicated.
Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusable, entertaining.
Yeah, this is the first one I messed up, damn.
Irritatingly inconvenient.
So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker. It's vital that we find out more about the case.
It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear with heavy fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to the accursed lodgings.
Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed too?
As I was walking along the accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her...
Damn, okay.
She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed on the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet.
Bro, chill.
How terrible. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard.
Slight exaggeration there, perhaps.
I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings.
That's not good.
They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that.
Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours?
Don't be ridiculous! Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English, and a young woman at that? I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure, and I can't talk to people.
I see. A young woman, unknown to Soseki-san. And at that time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you?
Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul.
No one. Great. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? What conundrum? What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum? Bro, I swear sometimes Ryu is so stupid. Like, what do you mean? There's nobody else we can defend him. Him and the murder victim were the only people there. That's the conundrum, you freaking maniac. Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen. I did. But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit.
Ah! What did you just say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. Oops, perhaps I thought a little too loudly? Actually, that's not what's troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested if nobody saw you leave? Sorry? He didn't touch the victim. There was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place? Or there in the first place? Yes. Oh yes, she's right.
It was him. That accursed great detective. He led the police to me. Of all the bad luck, accursed great detective.
Could it? Oh wait.
I should never forget that man's name as long as I live. With his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed, busybody, big-on.
Oh, Jesus.
May you be cursed until the end of your days, Hairlock Holmes. Wait, Hairlock Sholmes. I knew it.
Mr. Sholmes. Well, I didn't expect to hear the name from this man's lips, that's for sure.
It was the morning after the nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a silver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me. This is the police, put the weapon down! Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting dietary discrimination devils!
You clearly had a trying morning yesterday.
And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That's Airlock Sholmes.
It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English.
I've since found out that he's a famous name in the detection here in London.
Yes, the great detective is really very well known.
And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me! This weak, stooped kitten of a man!
I wonder what great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would really be most unreasonable.
Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in.
Of course you were. That's only natural.
I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. The fiendish, foreign, flim-flammery. Or flim-flammery.
Well, we are in England. Oh, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English.
Good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say, so I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles, and before I knew it, I was thrown in here.
Oh dear, I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine? He's not fine now.
Mr. Naruhodo Esquire!
Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple mister is more than enough.
Oh, yes, alright, yes. They really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you?
Well,
Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me?
Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself on a story tour.
A student?
I have defended a case in the Old Bailey, only the one though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Oh, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of a locum lawyer, I suppose.
But that armband! That's the mark of the defense and lawyer from our great empire!
It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend.
A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me.
Oh, what do you mean?
The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers, they won't defend me.
Goodness, why do you say that?
For the same reason as you've noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around. And I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit.
It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san.
And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me. In my earshot without any compunction at all.
Oops.
Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And of course, the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say the man doesn't understand half of what's being said to anyone. Anyway,
That's awful.
they're wrong! I've studied more English than half of the policemen are out there on the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through.
Soseki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please.
Huh?
I'll do what I can for the time being.
What do you mean?
We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Alright, to this crime scene. My throat hurts. Get it. The hell? So this is where it happened. Briar Road. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job, you know. But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Yeah, of course. I have to try one on one day. Well, I hope your hatty dream comes true. Hey!
What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
This isn't the tourist trail. Wait, what the fuck? This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware.
What sucks is that I'm used to like developing the different voices for each character, but I have trouble sometimes like distinguishing between two like English accents. Like they all come off like gravelly and like gruff. I mean, they look like they would have gravelly, gruff English voices. Hey, I don't want him to sound like the other guy.
This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware.
If I maybe no gravel for him. Maybe I won't do gravel for him.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate. So you've been to holding cells then. What do you make of the criminal?
He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose.
Racist ass. What do you want?
Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. That bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion.
The stone-cold air of rejection.
Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air.
That makes it work somehow. Get out of my way! What a delightful snowman. I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. It looks a little creepy though. Oh, it has a scarf, look! You need one if you're out in this freezing cold all the time. I wish I had one. I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment too. We certainly can't afford a scarf. Surely the snowman wouldn't miss it. But the person who made the snowman certainly would. What? How are you listening to my thoughts? Even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much harm to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred. Yes, it's very wide open space, isn't it? That's true, I can't see anywhere an attack could have been hiding.
Oi! What are you foreigners doing here?
We're just
conspiring with the mustache fellow from Japan, are ya?
Conspiring?
Come here to destroy evidence, have ya? Get out of here before I give you an hitting. Go on.
He shoot us away like rats. Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think. What a disappointing experience. Racist asses, what do you want? Oh, that's Scotland Yard cameras. They use vehicles like these to rush to crime scenes and cart away criminals. You're very well informed, aren't you? That's what I was doing in the Syndicate. It's been a long dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London. Well, just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows then. That would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way, help me find a good stone. No, I wasn't serious. There we go. Oh, a British bicycle, look. Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anywhere. Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling. It seems bicycles have been extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dresses to allow them to ride as well. The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone will want to ride something like that. Goodness, do you dislike bicycles? No, not at all. I mean, it's not like I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both of your feet off the firm ground seems reckless. If you ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river, I know you agree with me. Well, we'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around. Those broken windows, actually? It's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history. Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks like decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here. We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible. Yeah, you're right, cheap, but ideally with reasonable level floors. There are piles of snows on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks. It seems that often travel down Briar Road, it soon disperses all the snow. I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. Seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead. Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed all in black. A war coachman might not see you, and he should be flattened by horses. Oh, thank you for that rather small concern. Alright, I guess there's nothing to investigate. I gotta talk to Gregson. Tell me about the Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, I've been fascinated by the place. The Yard? It's the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world. Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful? Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you. Oh really? First things in the morning, you know what he does? Goes around, rouses all the labourers on his beat so they can get off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yep, raps on the windows with long pole. Did it myself going back a bit. I had no idea. Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. Can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far. And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my. I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases of law? And chase after criminals who try to evade the law? I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly, more alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men kneeling here from time to time, I admit it. I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. It happened around 5 in the evening, 2 days ago, just there on an open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. It is right that the lady's still unconscious now. You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital. Nope, that's not my voice. I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she's come around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find much about her at all. I suppose that means they haven't been to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area. I'll happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's Yard policy to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept. Local map. Anyway, as far as we know, there's no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head scratcher, is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around here, but just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to tell you this, but we most certainly can't be sure. How? Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. What? We have 2 very reliable witnesses and no less. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. They were witnesses now? Since when? Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife. The man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Ah. A policeman? That might change things. And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked? Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part parcel of being a bobby, catching them banging the act and all that. Do you think you can ask for us to ask that policeman a few questions? Be my guess, you can ask him what you like. He's right over there. Oh, I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to. That's that then. He's got no intention to let us meet the man beforehand, it seems. A policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. I hear that was Mr. Sherlock Holmes. What are you bringing up him for? Was it something I said? Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was one of the results of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle-faddle! What? The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug around here. Oh, I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gibble gabble! Ah. Ever since this before. Oh yes, that's the Rance magazine. The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of Yard's detectives in the stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all. Well, I suppose there is an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to the obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all of our criminals. That can't be really true, can it, Inspector? Man, those fish and chips rough. Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you sure you're gonna defend him or not? Well, excuse me. Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean? There's no way to save him now. It's a waste of time. Try. It's all a bit strange, though, don't you think? The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yes, we did hear about that to the effect. And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum, the master criminals, the violent ones. Master criminals? The violent ones? That's right, he handpicks his victims, only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely? That's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, though, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I could tell what's going on inside the head of a Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. Are we really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it. Well, I don't think there's anything more useful information that we're gonna get out of the detective. Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion? Oh yeah, what is it? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. With who? By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Sholmes, exactly. Look at those shiny eyes. You can't wait, can you? You're just excited. Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all of this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address. Even it's Baker Street. How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We'd rather try to find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Alright, I'll summon a carriage. So we are to have a reunion already with the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Alright, peace out. I forgot the frickin' animations.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
A lot of stuff going on. So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. She's freaking out right now. It's as described in the stories, Mr. Sato. Or is it as described in the stories, Mr. Sato? Give me this blanket, I'm cold. And my nose is getting weirdly stuffy. Not even stuffy, it feels like freaking phlegm is just flying around. Alliteration is awesome. Susato-san? Many, many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose that must have been, yes. I've never read the story, so it's hard to get as quite excited about it as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism! Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can, yeah. So if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please don't mind me. She's obsessed. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at the present. Excuse me, is anybody home? Okay, I want to say this is Iris. Unless I'm wrong. Or it might be an old lady. Oh, do we have a visitor? Nope, fuck it. I knew it was Iris. Alright, how is it? I don't know how to... I can't do her voice. That's too high. It's too small. Hello! No, just... Can you imagine? Hello! Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes? Hello. Well, aren't you... Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once. I should put an English accent. I'm sure it's the same girl. Mr. Sato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case. The King of... But where... What? King Willem Gostrich Sigismund von Ornstein, of course. Ornstein? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Sherlock Holmes for a moment and look over there. The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you. I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. Ah, there you are. Ah, yeah, and taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good to see you. Good day to you. I'm the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilda's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh yes, it was challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh, thanks. Is tea supposed to look like that? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner. I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see? You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're going to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck. Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley. Hurley? Oh, Hurley, like Herlock, Hurley. Mr. Sholmes to you, surely. Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain. Was he really? I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Oh, silly me, I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live here together with Hurley. Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter? Why is she so flattered? Or flustered all of a sudden? Yes, that's right. What are your names? Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's a wonderful time to meet you. Lovely. Susie and Runo. Got it. Susie? Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her. I don't even know where to start. Yes, and so do I. Hello. I guess there's nothing to investigate. It's just talking right now. Because I haven't been able to look at anything. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey. Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful, and thank you so much. Oh, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. You mean this fucker? Like this? Ah, thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in the tow, didn't you? Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. Oh, Ginny? Yes. She's a professional pickpocket. So we found out. It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly. So I followed her here, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism into my inventions. This girl is dangerous. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician. Sorry, your technician? Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Herlock. Herlock Sholmes. We live together. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Daughter? Not likely. What? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. Your roommates? I hope you don't mind. Damn. Everybody be roommates. I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10! Oh my god! What the frick? Well, what of your mother and father? Oh no, they're not around. Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Yeah, can we, like, what? Why are you 10 renting out an apartment building with Sherlock Sholmes? Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course, of course. Go ahead, Susie. I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and you have a copy of the Grant's magazine? Yes, I read every issue. It's all delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. My stories? Oh my gosh, she writes the stories. She writes the fucking stories. That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see. He tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, didn't you think? Goodness. Last night he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So, you are the author. Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure the Speckled Band. The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually. Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case, but it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you think? So do you mean to say, are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rand's magazine all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful, very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. Iris Wilson. So now it sounds getting more and more worked up. Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the Doctor of Medicine part? That's all true too, I am a Doctor of Medicine. You are 10 years old! At 10 years old. Well, that's quite incredible. But Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow. Well, yeah. I suppose it does, yes. Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world was just falling apart. I mean, also the stories are made up, basically. Like, they're making stuff up. They're solving that weren't actually there. Oh, about before. Yes. What's on your file, Mira? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer? We just arrived in London, I mean. Yes, oh. That we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that? Oh, that's what you... Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now let's begin. Deduction. Iris Wilson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular. First of all, I knew you already that you are a lawyer, Runo. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey at the defendant's antechamber. But you also said that we only just arrived in London. How did you know that? I observed a passport travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh, so I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, You accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey. I walked right into that one, didn't I? Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you, earlier today? They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And the red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus the Gilded, the two of you already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. But how could you have known that the trial's tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It's obviously amused him. He told me that he caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been Mr. Natsume. Now, Runo has a fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it's clear to me that you both came from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. Your trial's tomorrow. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man trial will be here tomorrow. Hurley's always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He's silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? Hey, I didn't accept anything yet. You're wrong. You haven't managed to discern something of Mr. Sholm's delivery. Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley. This is really good news. You could tell us about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please. I mean, I guess, sure. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, as you were saying. Yes. Wow. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railroad station to take him directly to the crime scene. Apparently a woman was stabbed on Quiet Street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had been short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking stooped man. Mr. Natsume, beyond a doubt. Soseki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street, and it seems there were witnesses after all. Hurley used his great detective powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking man, shivering in fear. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it? Definitely. We have time to investigate properly. Hurley says that the London is rife with crime. Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently. Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. That's terrible. I don't hold out much for Soseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Well, I expect Hurley to be investigating the scene. Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume? Hurley said he was going to go into the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of all crimes themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there? Yeah, Inspector Gregson? Ah, goody. In that case, give Gregsy this from me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know. What is this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. Iris's postcard. Thank you. It reads, tell the gentleman in the back in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Good luck, then. I'm going to return writing my manuscript for the inspector's band now. I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Irish. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, it's back to the scene of the crime. So somewhat dubious that they should exert any influence over the man of Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Well, I guess it's the perfect time to stop. I've been talking a lot. Sucks that we kind of didn't really get to do anything. We got lore and information, but no investigations have appeared at all. We haven't investigated shit. We've just been talking to people. Haven't really done much. I forget that's kind of how this game particularly is. Like, I never felt that way with the first trilogy. It felt like I was deciding everything that happened. But in this one, it's mostly just talking. Looks as though the police are still here and carry on. Alright, how long have I been streaming? Yeah, an hour and 17 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to take a break because I'm tired of talking for now. There's a chance I might not stream this anymore and just play it as normally. Or I might stream it again. Or maybe I'll do off and on for both and just catch up on the off chance. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you again soon. Have a good one, and goodbye.